Guys doing today? How are you doing, Bukola?
I'm doing actually amazing. God is good.
It's a beautiful day. It's Wednesday here in Houston, Texas. It's the 8th, I guess, the 8th of March.
Yes, indeed.
So, guys, I hope you've been having an amazing day. And it's another podcast from the Moly Podcast on the stable of Moly Network. You know how it is.
You know the vibes.
And I hope you guys been enjoying all the podcasts that we've been,
doing so far.
The amazing guests that we've been bringing. Bukola, what do you think? Do you think we've been doing so far?
I personally think we've been doing phenomenal. You as well. You've been doing really great. You've been asking the right qualifying questions, and I just think that was very awesome. But most importantly, for everyone that has been on the show for right now, I really do think that they've all presented themselves very, very well, and it's just an honor to have them on with us.
All right. So moving forward, it's just a platform that we want to share, learn from other people, share our experiences and how to get better, with what we're doing.
Indeed.
Generally. So today's podcast, I want to reflect on a few things and I wrote them down. I want to talk about getting tired quickly when things get difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to talk about pushing through our times and how you can motivate yourself regardless, and things you can do for self-development. So, Bukola.
Yes, sir.
How often, you can always throw this question back at me, really. So, how often do you get tired when things get difficult?
Basically saying that I do get into a shell when things get difficult. Do I stop trying? No, but I do take time. And sometimes my time period could be a long time to a point where I have to start all over again and still trying when that thing gets difficult. So that's something that I am working on.
Interesting. For me,
what about you?
There would always be difficult times, but you have faith. There's ease after every difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever when you face some type of challenge, the next thing you're hoping that God, please take me out of this and take me to where it becomes easy, because they said after hardship comes ease. So usually, I don't really have that mindset of giving up, especially, I just want to keep going. I don't let difficult time stop me from doing things that I'm supposed to do. Sometimes you find out that people, when they're going through hard time, they don't know how to keep moving. I mean, what's the benefit if you don't move? You're not getting anywhere.
Well, yes, I agree, because I think your actions have shown that. And I've been inspired by the way you do actually, when things get difficult and you just push forward. So, you do show me on that level that, okay, even if it's difficult, doesn't mean you should stop. Because it's in that difficulty that you actually still find the answer and it becomes smooth.
Guys, so, I'd like you guys to comment down below in the comment section. Tell us how you go through our times and how bro.
Comment.
Let's know what
please.
You do when things really gets difficult and how you're able to motivate yourself and get past.
I'm sorry, but I would really love to know, because I believe that we are not the only ones that's struggling with that. I believe there's a lot of people that might be struggling with that, and I would really want to know what you guys have to say about it. What do you do when things get difficult? Like, do you just stop? Do you go into hiding? Do you take a break and then get back to it? Do you pray about it? Like, I really want to know, and thank you in advance for telling us your story.
So, pushing through hard time.
Yeah.
Like right now, Bukola, 2023, you had your year resolution. This is the third month of the year. Mm-hmm. Has there been any difficulties this year?
Man, I think I should ask you first. Has there been any difficulty this year for you?
Well, I've been blessed and highly favored. I just see it's a marathon. Life itself, it's a marathon.
Okay.
You go into a mindset that, okay, yes, when I get past that level, I mean, there's going to be other levels in life. So, one thing I'm trying to get used to as an adult, being responsible is like you have to be aware that it's going to be constantly a marathon, right?
A marathon.
Yes, and well, some of the things that I've tried to like delve into in 2023, some been easy, some have been easy, some experience been very, very easy.
So, can you give us an example, please?
Like I started this year saying I was going to keep up with the podcast for sure. And
which podcast is that? Is it what?
Well, all the podcasts does.
Okay.
I mean, as far as I'm using my voice on it daily, just getting ready every single day.
Okay.
Trying to figure out what to wear, what to talk about, and then how people are accepting it is always like, constantly thinking. Sometimes that thoughts keeps me on my seat for a long time, but I just tell myself you just got to do it regardless, and the good thing about it is I'm motivated every time I get one out of the way and I go back and watch it. I'm like, wow, you did that, bro. Just do it again tomorrow. Make sure you do it tomorrow.
That's really good. And that's a good mindset on how you should go about doing things, because I do believe like, once you do something and you notice that, it wasn't even that bad, it will encourage you. No other way, but it will encourage you to do more. And then you just keep on seeing yourself being better and better.
And one of the things that I set out this year that I really want to work on is the film project. Thinking about it, finding finances for it, resources, how, like I really want to make great film for sure. And they say if you reach for the stars, you get to the moon, like just the fact that I had that in my mind, every other thing that I'm doing, that's not film. It's still film, but I feel like I still have the mindset that I'm trying to get somewhere. Like this year we met, me, you've been working in the premise of like, hey, we're going to make film, but we've not started making films, or we make some other things that's getting us close. It's just almost like, you set your heart like, okay, I'm getting to the stars. Now I'm in the moon. Yeah. You just keep moving. Yeah, I say that.
Wow. Yeah, I agree.
You always agree, Bukola.
Yeah, I will always agree if it's something that makes sense. If it doesn't, you will hear from me.
So tell, what about you?
Well, for me, I told myself my 2023 resolution was more of like getting out of my comfort zone. As some of you may know, I love to be behind the scenes and I love to be private, but God has his way of doing his own thing. I'm in front of the screen. And the first time I was in front of the screen, which I have been, in the past, but like this year has been very deliberate. Like I've really been in front, and ever since like we did that recreation of Malcolm and Marie, oh my days, when I saw myself, I was like, oh wow, like I didn't know I had it in me to do it like that. So I was always looking forward to another one. And just doing the podcast and doing so many things, getting out of my comfort zone, which was the number one goal. I just thank God, and I'm happy with myself that I have not stopped, and I'm just going, and I'm just keeping it up. I'm just like going, and this is only the beginning. So yeah, like I'm just excited. So that was what was going on with me for my resolution, getting out of my comfort zone. Yeah.
All right. So what is your motivation towards everything? What is motivating you to do it? To wanting to become a great actor? What's the motivation? Is it the money? Is it the fame?
So my number one motivation is to make sure that as I'm alive, I'm doing God's purpose. I'm fulfilling my purpose. But more importantly, it's more about my children. I want my children to grow up and see their mother being the best version of themselves, because the more they see that in me, the more they will become great, and they will choose great, if you know what I mean. And so my motivation has just been, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? If I don't do it, who's gonna do it? If I don't do it, who's gonna do it? And like God, I believe, and I thank God has given me gifts and talents. I don't want to be that person that he asks, what did you do with your gifts and talent? And I'm like, oh, I saved it, or I just, because I was private. No, Let's get out of our comfort zone. Let's not be in our head. So again, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? That's been my motivation.
For me, my motivation is now that I don't want to be broke. Even though, you're not going to start getting paid from the get-go. One of my motivation is right now, literally, you just have to keep working for the 8 billion people supposedly to be on Earth. And I'm thinking, if 8 billion people should give me $1 each, that's 8 billion. Like, that's like, God, I'll keep doing this. I don't know how I can get this right in front of the 8 billion people in the world, and they just find my words, my thoughts, my ideas, my expressions very interesting enough for them to put $1 on. Like, I can be rich overnight doing this.
But you know how also your gifts will make room for you. So I believe what you're doing now is something that you really love to do, right? Mm-hmm. So I believe if you keep on doing it and you're doing it, eventually the money will be there. And someone very important also always used to remind me about that, and always said, if you stay consistent, I'm telling you, everything else will just come.
That sound like me though. That sound like something I'll say, like, you don't get paid by just doing one thing.
Exactly.
You get paid when people see and come back like, well, we're sure we're going to, when we go on this platform, we're definitely going to see something. Mm-hmm. It's always going to come through. And they come and they're not disappointed. One day, they'll be like, oh, man, how much does it cost to listen to your podcast now? Man, bro, it's $1 for it. $1. For 8 billion people. Well, if it's not 8 billion people, if it's just 8 of you, it's $1 billion for each person. Anyway, guys, I am enjoying, the time. Just this discussion might sound like, not necessary, but to me it's necessary. Look back at these days and tell ourselves, like, and we're glad we had this conversation. Because, we'll probably play back in another 5-10 years, and I'm looking forward to those times. I'm like, oh, wow, Bukola, now you're really, you're a big girl. I'm not going to use the word.
Okay, Mr. Olympio, you're really up.
By that time, I probably will be working on my walking stick, like, Bukola.
No, wait.
Remember back in the days.
Before you get on your walking stick, we still have plenty of years to Jair, but what I'm trying to say is, when I look back, I'm going to be like, look at you, now you too bougie for me, huh? You too bougie for me, huh?
I'm sure a lot of people feel that way already. Come on now.
You're feeling yourself.
Easy. You wake up, you get into the shower. One thing I like about what I'm doing, honestly, is it's podcasting, whatever it's called, is a trend right now. And when people watch the Moly Podcast, we look like we're the shit. Like, for real, guys. What do you think? From the aesthetics of the whole environment, the look and all that, that feels...
It's the grace, honey. It's the God's grace. When they see our faces, it's just something that God does. We can't do it by ourselves. So.
Yeah, first, guys, I'm core into filmmaking. Like my whole life, almost 2 decades of my life, I spent studying film, studying picture quality. Guys, don't be surprised. Like, I'm even doing, this is the bare minimum of what God has given me. But I'm just tapping it on the surface. Pray for me, guys. Pray for me to be able to live and fulfill my purpose on earth. Because, sometimes when you're good at something, you can do better. You can only hope that God enables you. Only God right now. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today on the phone, and she told me, she said, Mahmoud, you have everything. The only challenge that you have is people's time and availability. When people give you time, bro, when she said that, I'm like, your time, people's time is very valuable. When people can invest their time into what you're doing, if they can just give you that little time to express yourself, it's like, the way I think right now, I don't think it's big deal, but it's big deal. Because you see Hollywood, you see the people who do it every single day. Sometimes I'm asking myself, like, is that the only place you can succeed as a filmmaker, or can you do it in your little corner, in your house, in your neighborhood, in your city, your town? Can you make it happen, or do you have to make that travel to Hollywood where you can find people who are readily accessible as talent and ready to like jump on your ideas and film with you. It's not hard to film, but it's really hard to film with people. And is it that you need the right money or you need the right leadership, that people like seeing you and they trust you enough to where they want to give you their time because they know their time is very valuable and they don't want it to be wasted. For granted. So I would say that when she said that, like, if you can just get people's time, if people can give you time, you will make magic because already you work hard.
Yeah.
And then all you can pray for is to find the right people to give you the right time. So guys, Bukola is, she's been very amazing since I met her. She shows up like she's unique, different. She invests time, she invests her resources, she invests her knowledge. And in 2023, she's probably one of the most patient person that I met and driven. And, plus she's a mom and she has all the things that she wants to do, but she's really dedicated. You guys should give it to her. Shout out to you, Bukola Telufusi.
Thank you.
May God continue to strengthen you and enable you and get you to the point where you want in your career. I hope that you will find yourself beyond where you expect yourself to be by the grace of God. So on that note, what do you want to say to the audience at home?
Wow. Thank you. I wasn't expecting that, but thank you so much. It's only God. And I also want to say thank you for your patience, with me, because, I know I have my ways of doing certain things, but it's the leadership, that's what goes a long way. And I just pray that we'll be able to see this 5-10 years from now and say, wow, look at what we did. We kept on going, we did it. And we're just touch hearts and people that are trying to do the same thing. It starts from us. If we don't do it, who's going to do it?
That's the mentality, though. Like, for as basic as just creating a podcast, it takes a lot of effort to think and say, oh, let's do it. And I'm like, let's just go record it. Regardless, I'm sure the Holy Spirit, God himself, will direct us, and we have to be deliberate with our words and intentional. If we're intentional, definitely the words will come, the ideas will come, the inspiration will come to where we can also inspire others, So, I mean, this old trend of, being podcast, I've always wanted to be on the radio. My mom was on the radio all through when I was growing up. So I hear my mom's voice on the radio every single time. I'm like, wow, that sounds really cool. And somebody, even my neighbors will call me like, hey, your mom is on the radio. The difference now is, like, technology, everything has changed a lot. So we're in the era of like we have to create our voice on the social media and all of that, which is very almost like it's saturated. But then, there's always that 1 in a million. I guess we're going to be one of that 1 in a million.
Like the last song, 1 in a million.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Shout out to him.
All right. Shout out to Demola. He was on one of the episodes. Yes. And if you guys don't know, Demola is Demola the violinist. Demola with 1 in a million guy. And, shout out to the guys who are really saying, oh, Moly, I appreciate, guys, your compliment is really good. I appreciate it. But one thing I tell Bukola every single day, we ain't there yet.
We ain't there yet.
Not even close. So all the compliment, we appreciate it. But, bro, we're not going to let it get into our head. We are going to keep working, developing ourselves and improving every single day, finding the most interesting, captivating topic for you guys. On that note, do you want to sign out?
Yes, on that note, we just want to say thank you for tuning in. Please follow us on Instagram at Moly Networks. My personal one is at BossLady_BUKS. We're also looking for more individuals that are in the creative who would like to be on the podcast. Please tune in, reach out to us. We would love to interview you and just get to know more about you. The world is looking for you and they want to know you. Also, I do want to say this. Today is a beautiful day. Today is a great day. Today is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. For this is our season. This is our time. And may no evil weapon formed against us prosper.
Oh, shit. On that note, we'll say peace and have a wonderful day.
Bye.